got it. The most controversial inquirer's got the best news in town. See, sink pissers and diaper shitters. See, hot wives and fat husbands. The most controversial inquirer's got the hottest goss and the juiciest tits. And I mean foreskin. The joking politician. White baseball. An Instagram Reels video of a caracol.
Yeah.
Only for a quarter of a nickel, you can go buy the most controversial inquirer, get all the best news in town. And for another half a nickel,
you can subscribe to our Patreon where we show our friggin' butts in the newspaper.
Yeah. Oh, this just in. Sparrow kills a squirrel. Bird army drives terrified little animal to a spectacular death. Scores of Washington Heights residents watched in breathless suspense as a squirrel was driven to his death by a flock of chattering sparrows. And that is from the Washington Post in 1912. That is a real news story.
Yes.
Charlie has...
Finally, in the most controversial Inquirer, can you step into the magical realm where all black people are orcs and all Mexican people are a race of cats?
Well, okay, to be fair, a lot of these newspapers
Real life
from
SpongeBob
1912,
found in New Jersey Pine
you can find places where they think black people are orcs.
Yeah. Charlie has been doing this thing.
1912, orcs were not invented yet.
Charlie has been doing
you're right.
basically what a homeless guy does at the library all day.
We've recently fired our editor Charlie for introducing the idea of orcs 30 years before Lord of the Rings was written. He can't be doing things like that.
But we have hired Charlie Moe as our new head cartoonist. He gets to draw the funny pictures.
Yeah. Oh man, I should have looked at the comics from back. I don't know if they did those back then, but back when newspaper comics, like there was barely a joke, like it was just someone pointing at a dog.
You know what it was? There was that comic of like the fat guy who would beat you up if you were rude. I can't remember what it's called.
That sounds
there was like a running newspaper strip.
It
was like old timey newspaper cartoon.
You talking about the Wound Man?
No, the first one was just called The Yellow Kid, which is really.
Oh no!
No, I mean it wasn't racist.
It was probably the Tales racist. Of Everett True. That's what I'm thinking.
No.
Everett Drew.
Everett True.
Everett True.
I've never heard.
The Outbursts of Everett True.
Mm.
So this is like the old timey newspaper comic.
There it is.
The Outbursts of Everett True, where like a guy slaps his belly. At the pool. They're both at the pool. And a guy slaps his belly and he says, "That's a lovely bay window you carry around with you, Everett. Don't you get tired of lugging that big bunch of lard?" And then Everett grabs him and throws him under the water. He says, "No, I don't, but I get tired of being a punching bag for fresh people like you. I'll bet you don't get familiar with me again, or with any other man of my weight." So he's like a short fall, like an American Winston Churchill looking guy, and he sees people being rude and he beats the shit out of them.
Yeah, he's just.
I've never seen this before.
A guy says, "You and your argument for race equality. That's all the dream.
Wait,
you're talking in your sleep. Race equality, my eye." And Everett True doesn't even say anything. He just punches him in the face.
Oh, that's awesome.
So wait, was that guy being racist or?
Yeah, the guy was being racist to Everett True. Everett True is pro race equality, and the guy says,
"Okay.
You're living in a fantasy land," and then he just thwacks him in the head. There's no
these comics were created by two guys named A.D. Kondo and J.W. Raper.
Oh. I was was looking.
I'm not making this up. There's a bit where he catches a guy staring at a woman's exposed ankle.
I'm seeing that right now.
Him into the street. That is awesome. I like to no ankle peeking, bro.
Oh wait, I need to set the parameters. This is I'm making the best.
Yeah, Charlie, you're just sending links to PDFs.
Yeah, you're gonna have to open them. I'm sorry.
I don't want to.
Wait, we open these all the time.
No, this is different.
You do have to download it, but it's like 2 kilobytes. So
my precious kilobytes.
Yeah, they're measured in kilobytes. Oh fuck! I'm gonna have to be more specific in these papers because there's a lot of things that are true and a lot of guys named Everett.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to use quotation marks. But I wanna read one of these. I wanna read another one of them because I did. But I'm the queen bee of the newspaper.
That's true.
You know who I think would have something to say about that. Everett True.
Everett True.
He's gonna clock you and say, "How about you give the other folks a chance to stand on their own, huh?"
Yeah.
New Everett True.
How
but
about
he's
this,
just,
you
like,
queer
totally-
bastard? Queer meant
He's
something
going
different
on-
back then.
He's going on the like whatever podcast and yelling at the guy there, like, treat these names with some damn respect.
Yeah. He's just having Spanish-American War
flawlessly KOs
flashbacks.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
For smoking weed.
Don't
with
you know
Joe Rogan.
women's got a right to speak their minds? Just because their names don't mean you need to shut them up.
Going on like the Andrew Huberman podcast to be like, whatever happened to listening to your doctor? I went to school. Woke Everett True.
Yeah.
This could be
True's
good.
already woke, dude. He hits people
Even
for opposing racial, racial equality.
woke.
Yeah.
Everett True was like the 1910 version of woke.
Look
Yeah.
how,
He would
listen
he
to
would
how
punch
sad
people
Charlie
for being
sounds that he
racist.
doesn't get to read his little article. He
I'm not
seems
sad.
So glum.
I'm just
you are.
sending.
You're
I'm just
deflated.
sending more of them. I was looking at more of them to
really,
send.
I really like the idea of like the guy who writes Everett True. Like he gets into an argument about politics once and he immediately just goes like, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, please don't hit me.
No, I was
He's
gonna
just
say
like dolphin dives behind his
Because
desk and hides. Like you can hear his
because it-
knees knocking together.
it rhymes with true. I was looking up different words for this, and I was like,
Oh
I just
wait,
looked
Charlie,
up.
I got one. Check this
No,
out. Check this out.
what
Check
is
this
it?
out.
Ooh.
Everett, shut up.
Um,
Everett Truanon.
Thanks.
Holy shit.
Yeah. No, I just looked up like Jew and Jewish, and I don't know why I was expecting there to be something funny, because it was like Jews are funny, but then it's just like news from Russian Empire: hundreds of Jews killed. I'm like, well, this isn't fun.
Yeah, the outburst of Everett Jew, and
This
when
is
you're
not-
racist to him, he just catches a cold.
Yeah, I was like, they're not doing anything funny yet. and then
if you
know,
saw one that was like 100 Jews killed by rogue gorilla, you'd be like, "Oh, we have
Yeah.
to put this on the podcast."
yeah, I would, but unfortunately.
I'd give him the pass for that. I'd accept that.
For
Yeah,
for
you give
reading
him the
about
gorilla pass.
the gorilla, yeah.
The gorilla pass, yeah.
No.
My mom is actually. I'm actually half gorilla. My mom's a gorilla.
Did you see that photo that went around of Haley Steinfeld where people thought she was hanging out with a guy in blackface at a Halloween
Yeah.
party, but he just
Oh,
had
yeah,
a
that
skin
was
condition
funny.
that made him grow a shitload of hair?
Yeah.
That's so awful. That's such
Yeah.
a terrible fate to have befallen you.
Yeah, you
Like,
just
it,
picture blackface
it
all the
literally looks exactly like blackface.
Yeah.
I'd assume it's
Yes.
easier to tell not in a photograph.
Ooh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna look
yeah.
It's
up.
still probably a pain.
Well, also,
He has
it's like
red hair on
people
his
aren't really
lips.
walking around in blackface. Like, if you just see that guy on the street, you're not going to be like, that guy's doing blackface on the street.
Well, I wouldn't think he has a disease that turns him into a gorilla person with hair on his
Mhm.
face. I think
It's
it
a
would probably
disease
err
that
on
makes
the
him
side of blackface.
racist.
Yeah, fucking Jeremy Irons in Die Hard 3, he gives John McClane the disease that makes him grow hair on his face and he makes him walk around Harlem.
Yeah. He also gives him the disease that makes him forget everything.
No, come on!
I gotta say, controversial opinion, Bruce Willis's last films have been his greatest roles yet.
Yeah, he has been putting in his best,
been
like
killing
late
it.
style Bruce Willis. Oh man,
The way people are like, actually, I think Michael Bay's good. I'm that way for Bruce Willis.
for old Bruce Willis. I will like. People are always like, "Oh, old people suck. They need to be like killed." And then meanwhile, Hollywood has been torturing this old man for decades. And when you heard about it, you're like, "Wait, this is actually bad." Have a fucking backbone, man.
Yeah. Oh, wait, here's a news story about Tub Girl demanded cash for evidence. This is because I was looking up stuff about Al Jolson.
I thought you were
found
looking up Tub Girl.
I kind of, I wouldn't think to, but I guess. Wait, why is she called Tub Girl? Was the
I don't know.
bathtub girl of Earl Carroll's party in his
She was
theater?
fat.
Okay,
Yeah,
I did find an Everett True comic where he just yells at a little girl for singing badly.
Yeah.
That
was a little
that
messed up.
fraud.
Yeah, one of you.
And that girl grew up to be Billie freaking Eilish.
I forgot the people that back then people weren't always talking about Al Jolson doing blackface and that he was just like an entertainer that did a lot of different things. So I'm not finding much.
No.
It's not like extra, man
Plus,
does
it wasn't like a
blackface
big
again,
deal
and
that
it's
he-
really funny.
Yeah. It wasn't like a
Um,
big deal that he did that back then, I don't think.
No, of course it wasn't. It would be funny if it was. If they were just like, if like
It
that
was
was
a
where they
huge
drew the
deal.
line. Yeah. One of you can read. I sent all the PDFs, and I like the little like preview names they have. It gives you like
the
a little.
preview names are really good.
It gives you
I
like a
wanna
little
read-
hint, but not too much.
I'm gonna read the classic bear slays tiger who killed keeper at Beatty Zoo.
I love this
Uh,
one.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida, December 11th. This is 1942. A
Mhm.
full-grown tiger sprang up from its pen at the Clyde Beatty Zoo here today during the feeding period and clawed to death a 25-year-old attendant before it, in turn, was killed by a bear. The victim was Wallace Ayers, assistant keeper at the zoo. Albert Fleet, keeper in charge, came to his rescue and beat the animal off with a hoe. The tiger then jumped into a nearby pen with a bear and was instantly killed.
Yeah, that's my favorite line. Instantly killed.
it's like he got shot with a laser.
No, that's what I'm thinking. Like the bear didn't bite the tiger; it used hyper
No.
beam.
Yeah.
Ripped its head. It just like psychically
The bear works
exploded it.
exactly like those fucking those giant like mechanical sentries in Breath of the Wild, where you just hear like
Yeah,
a
the
soft
Guardians.
beeping noise and then it's blown up by a laser.
Yeah, he looked at the bear and turned to stone.
Well, what I like about this is that it was 1942, right? So this guy was like, "Oh, thank God I don't have to go overseas. I'm just going to keep my zookeeping job, and I won't have to get killed." It's like that's what
Yeah,
you
just
get
keep
for
my
not
head
fighting
down.
the Nazis, asshole.
The tiger had fucking like swastika shaped stripes.
Yeah. No, he's
No, the tiger's the Soviet Union.
Yeah, no, the tiger.
The
bear-
Or
tiger.
no, the bear's the Soviet Union. The Nazis, the tiger.
I think
Yeah,
the
the tiger's
tiger.
the Nazis and the bear's the Soviet Union.
I'm having a
No, no,
stroke.
no.
And
No,
I'm Mega Man.
because that you are Mega
Yeah,
Man.
and I'm
The,
Dracula.
no, because the tiger. No, I get to be Dracula. The tiger
Fine,
is
I'm Dracula's
punishing this
castle.
guy. Fuck.
Why would you want to be a castle? You don't even get to move or do
'Cause
anything.
I'm
you
huge-
fucking
'cause I get to
Because
be
you have hot
huge.
girls inside of you.
I get to
the
be
thing that
friggin'
all of us
huge.
You don't
want.
get to do anything
Stone.
with it.
What do you? I
no,
don't. Well, I wouldn't
they're-
even mind because I'm a castle. I don't have a brain. I'm just big.
These
rocks.
animals are punishing him for not
Sorry,
going
what's
to
up?
fight on the front. You know, they're
No,
like
yeah.
they're anti-fa. Did I tell you
All tigers on the Western Front.
all tigers? That would be a
Yes,
better
dude.
movie. All tigers on the Western Front. Only
They're all tigers.
yeah. It's the truce where they decided to lay down their arms and let out their tigers.
This is gonna be one of those episodes where we start getting like a little bit too autistic with it, or it like starts as a joke and then we start getting like really invested. And they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
what if there were like also dragons in the war and it was World War II, but there were dragons and all the soldiers were tigers.
Yeah. What if it was Zelda?
What if it was we invented a new kind of chess where instead of black and white the pieces are red and blue like Halo.
Ooh, that's
Wow.
good. Yeah, Halo chess, and we call it Halo chess.
Yeah,
No, we call it
you
chess
make $1
too.
billion.
I've talked about it before, but I remember when I was like learning chess as a kid, I was like, this kind of sucks now, but I can't wait until they add like dragons to this eventually.
Yeah, until
when
they add DLC to chess.
When they add new pieces.
Yeah, yeah. Gameplay patch 3.7. Night movement pattern changed to zigzag.
Yeah.
yeah.
I did think like, I was like, someone's gonna have to do that at some point.
I mean, once they add like double jumping to chess, shit will be crazy. A
Yeah.
bit different.
I'm
You
also,
have
no
to
clipping.
stop wall clipping your king to the other side
Yeah,
of the board.
the queen no clipping through the back of the board and just ending up right next to the other king, ending the game on the first turn.
Mhm.
The chess
Bullshit, I hate
speedrunners.
this game.
Have you guys seen that summoning salt video about the chess speedrunners who can beat the game in 1 second?
yeah, by giving up.
And
And
everything
Oopsie
changed.
invented bishop skip, where
Yeah.
you just move forward with the bishop.
Oh, I've also
Everything changed when Sleepy Z discovered the C4 skip.
Yeah.
yeah. I've also discovered that back then they used queer just to mean weird, like obviously. So
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
up queer is actually like it yields like some pretty good results. Like girl bites flying bullet, catches a
Whoa.
revolver ball in teeth in queer accident,
That just seems significantly stronger than queer.
or killed by electric freak. One man electrocuted, another badly shot in queer accident.
Like-
I am
like-
the electric freak.
Like two soldiers like somberly knocking on a woman's door,
You've
and she
been
walks
killed.
out and she
Your
sees
husband
them
was
like
killed
bearing
by
the,
the electric-
American flag. And she's like, no, and one nods and goes, it was an electric freak.
I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say they're doing the Inglorious Bastard scene. Christoph Waltz is like, "Do you have any electric freaks in your house?" And there's just like a big bolt of lightning shooting up from the basement. No, I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Yeah, Queer Accident is really good.
Yeah, there's just like this fucking like persistent like a fucking the electric freak in the basement is powering the fridge that he keeps his milk in. Like he can see the sparks going into the fridge from the basement.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Sea Lion is killed by stoning at zoo.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Baltimore Zoo, January 7th. Pepper the sea lion is dead. Officials at the Baltimore Zoo said the 3-year-old female apparently was stoned to death Saturday night. That's so fucked, dude. This is what people did before the invention of video games.
Yeah, no, that's
I've
what I
been
said.
Stoned to death on a Saturday night many times.
A guy in the 40s was like, golly gee, I sure wish I could play some Grand Theft Auto right now, but since I can't do that, I'm just going to kill a sea lion with a rock.
This is when you were like this is what teenagers did when they were like, before they could like force a woman to marry them at age 16, is they would just pelt sea lions to death with rocks. They would go to the zoo because it's like, zoo, they have like cool, unique animals there that we can pelt to death with rocks as opposed to the normal dogs that we have.
Can you believe there's like a Tumblr fan community around the sea lion stoners? That's like so fucked up considering what they did.
Yeah.
An autopsy by the zoo veterinarian Robert P. Wagers showed that
there's just a bunch of rocks next to a dead sea lion. They're like, we need to do an autopsy.
Yeah, we did. Oh, Jesus Christ! I don't know, man.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they go to the sea lion. It's just bones.
Yeah.
We assume because of the stones that it was caused by vandalism.
Stones and bones.
It's like, the bones are like in the same shape as like a sea lion standing up. They're held together somehow. Yeah, there's a lot of articles that are just like about queer things that happen. I kind of want to, Griffin read one.
I cannot stop laughing at Killed by Electric Freak.
Electric Freak. I wish I could. The thing about this newspaper archive is that I have access to it through my school. So I can't really share it. Because that would be giving away my degree. Queer things that happen, odd bits... Oh, yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to read Virginian is killed by falling piano.
Oh,
I really just wanted to read the first sentence because
it's about like a kid that died.
It's like... No, it's an adult. It's an adult.
Oh, it's an adult.
33.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
There's 2 different articles about people dying from falling piano.
Yeah, I was looking up people dying from falling piano. Yeah.
It is funny because you had to like you know how like people will say like there's a stereotype of like a guy who'll be like, yeah, I'm like really into like dark humor and stuff like that. Like the 1930s version of that was like, yeah, but I'm about to make a folly of that boy who got crushed by a piano last week. And it was like the lead animator on
dark
Looney
humor
Tunes.
In the 1930s was like, I love Al Jolson.
I love Al Jolson, and I don't care if that girl got killed by a piano.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Elmer Samuel Moore, 33, of the Pungo section of the Princess Anne County, died late Monday en route to a Norfolk hospital after a piano being moved on a truck accidentally fell on him. He was a member of the Tabernacle Methodist Church. I really just wanted to read Elmer Samuel Moore of Pungo, Princess Anne County.
Is Pungo still around? There's no way that there's somewhere called Pungo still around.
Virginia? I'll check.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't sound right. People also ask, why is it called Pungo?
No, it's a rural community located in the southern part of Virginia Beach.
Yeah. They have a strawberry festival every year for 3 days on Memorial Day weekend.
And an annual piano crushing.
I feel like putting that as your location on Hinge is the same thing as being like a guy who's 5'5". Mm-hmm. Like you're just getting swiped left because it says Pungo.
Wikipedia has a photo of the only stoplight in Pungo.
Yeah. As well as Pungo Pizza in Pungo.
The Witch of Pungo.
Yeah.
Witch of Pungo.
Witch of Pungo.
She was first accused in 1698.
Intersections in Pungo.
She was accused in 1698 of having bewitched a neighbor's crop of cotton.
They have their only intersection is the intersection of Princess Anne Road and Indian River Road.
Okay.
R.I.P. That's where he died.
Yeah.
It's weird that this place had 2-story buildings, I'll say.
Yeah. Well, you need to drop the piano from one of them. I will
That's
say,
what
one of the other like thing, or one of the other stories about it, or about like, kids that like died from the piano, is they were just like, the story was like, well, they had the piano like on its side and the kids were playing next to it, and it's like, you're you shouldn't have had kids in the first place if you're just letting that happen. It's like, let's have the piano up on its side where it could be tipped over and just let our kids play.
No, it was a Mario 64 piano when it started biting
Oh,
them.
yeah, that's right. I want to read this thing about what was it, like queer things that happen. That's that is what it's called.
Yes, that's also the name of Charlie's autobiography.
No, as many inferred, people who
Bang!
travel about the world
Bang!
with their eyes
Pew,
and
pew,
ears
pew, pew, pew.
open, see and hear many things strange and interesting. Also otherwise, the world is full of phenomena and odd accidents. For example, down in San Bernardino Valley, California, 2 playful wildcats cut off the electrical lights for several towns for 48 hours, and the entire valley was in total darkness. That just
darkness.
Oh wait, fuck. I was gonna say, okay, so when I was reading this, I was like, man, back then they didn't really like have dark senses of humor. This is probably just gonna be like some cute story or whatever, and it's not gonna be very funny. The young catamounts evidently, while romping, chase each other up the light pole, carrying the main wires to the powerhouse distributing point. In their play, the cable parted and the circuit was broken. Every light went out. Both animals were killed by the shock, and their bodies lay on the ground at the foot of the pole when the linemen came to repair it. So that's just the end of that story. 2 cats died and took out everyone's...
died. Were electrocuted to death.
One of the an electric freak killed them.
Electric freak.
One of the queerest lawsuits I've ever heard of is pending in the courts of San Bernardino. Paul Schlabdum brought a revolver from a hardware firm to commit suicide. For some reason, the weapon was defective and would not go off. He then sued the company for damages.
That's gotta suck to not be able to kill yourself.
Yeah. Men die sometimes from exceedingly queer causes. For example, okay, this is way darker than I thought. Colonel J.B. Anderson of Colfax laughed so hard at a funny story told by a neighbor that he had an attack of apoplexy. David Dorso of Harrison was shaving when a mosquito lit his chin. Making the motion with the razor to drive the insect away, he cut a deep gash in his throat and bled to death within a few
Come on, man. No.
Jesus Christ.
Just fucking cut his own throat.
What news story is that? This is so sad. This is the saddest news story I've ever read.
Can I read an Everett True comic to lighten the mood?
No, I mean, there's like so much more. Elmer Kirchhoff.
A lot of guys named Elmer. What's up with that? A lot of guys named
Elmer. While carrying a keg of beer at a picnic in Reading, Pennsylvania last summer, stumbled over a croquet hook. The keg went down with him and crushed his head. Croquet, whatever. I forgot.
Charlie, this is bumming me out, dude. This is just people.
Why is this just real people dying?
In Three Stooges ways.
Yeah, and it crushed his head so that he died shortly after.
He got getting flattened like small Mario.
Yeah.
Animal.
There's a guy
chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee shoots trainer. Animal.
Oh, I like this one.
Imitates master. Only flesh wound. Harry Van Ness, an animal trainer at the Sheasley Zoo, was shot in the right leg tonight by a big chimpanzee at the zoo. Luckily, the revolver contained a blank cartridge, and the wound inflicted in the trainer's leg was a burn caused by the explosion of the powder. The chimpanzee imitates the trainers and the other employees of the zoo. Tonight, he saw the bear trainer point a revolver at one of the bears.
What's going on at this zoo?
Well, wait. He saw the bear trainer point a revolver at one of the bears when the animal refused to go through his act.
That's right. He's fucking up and pull on a bear because he won't stand up. He won't balance on the little ball.
It's so funny how this. It's so funny
pulling a revolver at a bear and yelling, "Give me all your honey!"
Yeah. It's funny how the zoo used to be like the most evil place you could go to in the city.
It sounds like so much fun, man.
It's so much fun. There's like another zoo.
I didn't know the zoo was washed. The zoo used to hit different.
There was one story in there about like a chimpanzee where they were like, to the horror of residents of Chicago, they watched as the chimpanzee lost its grip and broke its neck falling down, which could only mean that it was like doing that on top of like concrete. Yeah, it was like on concrete or something, because like that's not supposed to happen.
That's the only thing you see from your like one day off at the meat poison factory.
Yeah.
Like every other day you're like slipping around in your coworker's blood, like earning like 3 nickels a day to pack like sausage that's 75% donkey into a can for 10 hours in the freezing cold.
And then
you get 1 day off and you go to a zoo and the chimpanzee slips and dies.
And then you're at work the next day and then you just see the chimpanzee coming down the assembly line.
you have to pack the chimpanzee in pork.
Yeah, the trainer then placed the weapon on a stand in the big caged area. When he finished with the bear act, he forgot to take the revolver with him. The chimpanzee watched the bear act from its cage, and when Van Ness placed the chimpanzee in the area, the animal picked up the revolver and fired it at him. The trainer refused medical attention, stating he did not anticipate any serious trouble from the wound.
To be fair, I would refuse medical attention too, because I would not want to go to
I want my
I would,
shins
even
cut.
if it was, you know, like an open wound, I would,
Yeah, just clearly bleeding out.
Yeah. Freak is a good word to look up here. Like, I like this one that just says, airship is a real freak. Like, if you guys want to
open that. Sexual Decepticon.
It's just like
it's a
freak flying machine built by Congressman Ames of Massachusetts, and that's all it is. It's just from like the Boston Herald Tribune or something. Boston Post.
Does look freakish.
I don't know. We had one of those. We do have the Boston Herald.
I think there's another place that has the Herald Tribune. There's the Globe and the Herald.
The Boston Herald doesn't really. It's like the New York Post of Boston.
Which one exposed the pedophiles?
It mostly just makes articles about how Michelle Wu is making too many biplanes.
Was that the Boston Star? I thought it was whatever.
Anyway, can I read this?
That was the Daily Wire.
Everett True comic, please?
Yeah, it was the Daily Wire that exposed the thing about the pedophile
in Boston.
Yeah, they gotta get it wrong. I don't know why, but it's just I'm funny imagining like a 10-year-old getting that wrong in class and saying that was the Daily Wire. That just a freaking out your teacher so much.
Yeah. Oh my god, they would make such a good
ancient
Greek
about Alex Jones who was trying to prove that all of the senators weren't pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this Everett True comic I want to read because it's really mean for no reason. So it's Everett True sitting on a bench with another woman, and the woman says, "Oh, Mr. True, are you waiting for Papa? Let me show you the family album." And Everett True responds, "Never! I'd rather sit out on the curb than sit here and look at the bunch of chromos in that album. There was never anybody in your family who didn't have a nightmare face, and I refuse to be tortured."
Oh my god.
Fucking killing me. Like, yes, half of these are him, like, I guess, like, after a while, the author ran out of ways for him to, like, stand up for racial equality. So it's just like, what if Everett True just beat up a janitor for doing his job?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this one.
Bulldog has go-kart.
I love this one.
The sight of... This is on the Washington Post, November 20th, 1910. The sight of a bulldog being wheeled helplessly in a perambulator, fed like an invalid, and treated like a baby is the latest tragedy of animal life. Cut off by an unheroic accident from the enthusiastic activity dear to his kind, Baby, the $500 British bulldog belonging to a Mrs. Freeman of Usher, now finds his utmost excitement a daily ride in a perambulator. Baby is only 7 months old, yet, owing to his accident, which has paralyzed his back, he is already a dog that has had his day.
Damn, dude.
They're talking about him like he's dead. Fondly cherished by his owner and his nurse, he regards life from his pram like a shrewd warrior taking his rest. He cannot even wag his...
shrewd warrior taking his rest.
Being a journalist used to be so easy.
Yeah, you just see a dog.
You see a dog that got hit by a car, and you're like,
I can write 500 words on that, easy peasy.
Yeah,
you earned like a salary enough for a family because every week you went into the office and you wrote, "Today a bale of hay fell over in Main Street Square."
Yeah, a dog died somewhere for sure.
Yeah, no one was injured, but 3 women reported being startled.
He cannot even wag his short, kinky bulldog tail when he wants to say thank you, but his pathetic eyes express a million tail wags.
Pathetic eyes!
Pathetic eyes!
Poor baby, man.
Every morning he is bathed, dressed and fed, and twice a day he is wheeled out in his perambulator by his nurse, having first been tucked up in warm blankets. His head rests on a fluffy cushion, and a fluffy rag goes over the woolen wraps.
The entire time, like, this author is writing about this pit bull, like it's the guy from Metallica's One, where he's like, he can't move a muscle, it sucks. Every day is suffering. And like the entire time, the dog's thought process is like, oh boy, my friends love me so much. Everyone takes good care of me. Oh, boy,
I can't wait to eat dinner later. He is fed on
around for free.
Wait, this is a crazy sentence. He is fed on fish, bread, and milk, and other invalid delicacies.
When he is naughty, as even invalid warriors will be, he is shown a stick.
Invalid warriors! Fuck!
And the sight of the stick is enough. His nurse, whose attentions are quite voluntary, loves the broken warrior, and spares no trouble to make the autumn of a summerless life as comfy as may be. There are times when baby seems to be crying tearlessly, when all
honestly, the autumn of a summerless life is a pretty fucking hard sentence. That rocks.
That's
kind of killer. I fuck with that.
Yeah, people lament it's like, journalists don't spend time with their subjects anymore. They just, like, push out articles all the time. And it's like, most of the time it was because it was this, and then, like, newspaper editors were like, maybe it shouldn't, maybe you can do something else.
Anyway, can I read through Pitchfork and Snake?
Oh, I love this. Or are you done, Griffin?
I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
Trying to kill a copperhead snake here resulted in tragedy. 2 farmers north of town, Frank Those and...
I love this one so much.
2 farmers north of town named Frank Those and Lit Montfort.
Cool.
Were hauling bound grain and were... No, Lytt. So it's like Light Montfort. Were hauling bound grain and were finding a number of snakes. They had just killed 2 in one shock. And in the next one, another was found, and Montfort started to throw his fork at it. He became excited, and just as he threw, his hand slipped, and the fork, instead of striking the snake, struck Toes in the breast. He threw his arm up to ward off the blow, and one time of the fork entered his hand, while another pierced his chest and right lung, causing a fatal wound.
So he just, like, totally impaled him.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Like, I like the idea that this all happened because his hand slipped. Like, you don't impale somebody because your hand slipped. You just threw really bad.
Like you just and imagine like explaining, like going up to his wife and like, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry your husband he passed. What happened?" I saw a snake and thought it would be really cool if I threw my pitchfork at it.
Yeah,
and I don't know what happened.
This guy died from aura farming. He was trying to farm aura and he killed his friend.
Yeah.
2 aura farmers north of town trying to kill a bunch of snakes.
Yeah, too busy posing and were killed by snakes. I love it.
There's another story about a German reservist trying to go back to the front lines to fight for war and dying because he fell under a train.
Under the train?
Yeah.
See things upside down. Iowa boy's freak vision causes him to do some odd stunts. This is from the St. Paul Pioneer Press. The world appears upside down to little Paul Taylor, aged 8 years old, of Lakeview, Iowa. When this bright boy sees things, he sees them standing on the wrong end. When he writes from right to left instead of from left to... It would be funny if he's just Chinese. This is just a Chinese person.
Yeah, it's a Chinese guy.
He's a regular Chinese guy. This
Chinese child.
This queer man appears to see things incorrectly.
Yeah,
when he writes...
Like, I can see normally, man. Like, I speak English.
Yeah.
This strange slanted boy.
Yeah.
My father came over in 1950.
One might almost picture him in a strange, almost conical hat for some reason.
Yeah.
The boy is in good health and seems to suffer no inconveniences from his strange condition. A piece of paper was placed before him, and he was asked to write his name and to make a number of letters. The boy took the pen, and naturally he wrote his name backwards, all the letters, which were turned upside down. This is like 100% like a thing his parents just taught him to do. They were like, alright, do this party trick for us. Get us some attention in the newspaper.
Did my kids the colors wrong?
Can I read Jealous Elephant Murders Man?
I love this, yeah.
This is from the New Orleans Picayune, I think. Take the elephant as the beast that expresses moods and whims, the animal that forms genuine loves and hates. He's a whole volume in natural history himself, and my word for it, his character is always revealing some new phase or side, and he is both a creature to trust and to fear. I form my opinion from what I have seen, and in all the years that I've followed this business, my opportunity to see and note has been more than ample.
All
Ed
right, horror
Cullen.
farming, flip
Oh
farming.
my god, it's Edward Cullen. It's the guy from Twilight.
Yes, I almost said Star Trek.
Yeah.
It was just the first franchise that popped into my head. I know he's Twilight. I know he's
Ed
Dracula.
Cullen, manager of Hagenbach's New Orleans Winter Garden, which was abandoned some weeks ago, the show being moved to Cincinnati. One afternoon, shortly before his departure, was conversing with some friends who were having a look at unwieldy inmates of the Elephant House, and as nothing unusual was astir, the manager found time to tell a more interesting, though tragic story. Here is a fine beast, and Cullen playfully slapped a loose-hided, overgrown pachyderm on the flank. Such a fellow as Chief was, though not so large. Chief was an Asiatic elephant, and belonged to a show I was with a great number of years ago. This is a long one, just a heads up.
Mm. No.
This boy
Oh
here,
my god.
and Mr. Cullen gave the monster he was standing by another resounding smack, which the beast didn't seem to mind in the least, is mild-mannered and docile, and Chief was just the reverse, not only mean and testy, but crafty and treacherous as well. I love the idea of, like, an elephant with schemes.
Yeah. It's just like...
He's plotting.
Yeah.
They're making, like, the King Von TikTok about Chief the elephant, and they're all just trumpeting.
Do it himself, on feet!
Bro, he'd do it with his own trunk.
Yeah, do it with his own trunk.
He'd pick you up and throw you, he would stomp you, he would throw rocks at you.
He had to get gone, bruh. Jesus Christ. Gus is always like, hey, do you guys mind if I read a passage from Moby Dick?
Shut up. Chief had a mate, Mary, one of the biggest elephants I ever saw in all my circus days, and Mary was a jewel in more ways than one. It's like an elephant with a pair of human teeth.
It's just an elephant with a blonde wig and red lipstick.
Yeah.
It's doing the Marilyn Monroe thing with the elephant. It's just like blowing its tail up. You see its gross elephant ass.
Its tusks are like swirls.
Yeah.
It's got swirly tusks. Like a bendy straw. In the first place, Mary was the boss of the ranch, kept all the herd in order, and if ever there was one hen-pecked husband, Chief was. Our elephant trainer was a young man named King. Thoroughly, an elephant named Chief and a guy named King is really funny. Thoroughly up to his business and acquainted with all wild animals as few men ever get to be. King loved his charges and his charges loved him. That is, all of them but Chief. And as for Mary, she was just crazy about the man and would trumpet with delight whenever she saw him approaching. This is the elephant version of, like when a really, BPD guy gets, like, jealous of his girlfriend's dog.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, 1 second. Sorry, my computer spazzed out. Mary was far bigger than Chief, and her weight and power gave her the right to shine in the role of the wife who wears the trousers. But for all Mary's Amazonian tendencies, she was not a flirt, and gave Chief no cause for jealousy. But Chief took early a dislike to King, the trainer. I'm like turning into a Scottish guy.
I think it's because
no
Griffin mentioned Moby Dick.
That Mary showed great affection for the man, and there were times that if King ever came near Chief, the elephant would give unmistakable signs of anger, and a dangerous gleam would show in his mean little eyes. Once Chief lashed out at King with his trunk, when the trainer was sweeping Mary's sides with a broom, and the swing of the blow just missed the man. King jumped to one side, and as he did, so Mary, with a bellow of rage, smashed the smaller elephant with a blow on the head with her trunk that brought Chief to his knees. Mary was ready for a charge. Jesus, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. I do like that this news article is just like, I was talking to a guy and he told me about something that happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
The news used to be so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the news used to be awesome. Mary was ready
Now
for
we
a charge, her big head
wokeism.
lowered to serve as a battering ram, and Chief would have fared badly had not King acted promptly. He knew that he could trust Mary, and springing in front of the big beast, extended both his arms and cried, "Get back, girl! Now!" His order was obeyed, and Mary, wheeling around, went quietly to her place, and so a panic in the elephant house was averted. A panic in the elephant house, that's a great name for a book or something.
Yeah.
Our show was in North Carolina, near Charlotte, when the grim tragedy I am going to tell you of happened. We had been playing a number of little towns with some success, and instead of traveling on the railroads, used our elephants and horses to move the animals, and tent wagons from place to place over the hard country roads. Mary at this game was of more service to us than a dozen horses. She would lead the elephants up, and they were all too much afraid of that, I've a ready trunk of hers, not to follow when she. This guy uses like way too many negatives in his writing. He writes like Josina Anderson. It's making me fucking insane.
Crazy pull. I'm about to start using negatives. Negative expletives. Hurry the fuck up!
Yeah.
I want to get to the part where he's killed by the elephant.
Oh, you haven't even gotten
would
to that?
shove wagons out of ruts, carry 10 poles in their trunks, or do any other manual labor we had for them. Chief had been acting very mean, and it was up to Mary to punish him several times before he reached... I'm starting to feel bad for Chief, dude.
Yeah,
Mary
Joel.
beat the shit out of him.
I was trying to think elephants were treated pretty bad.
But from all the chastisement he received from his massive wife...
Boom. Oh. Get her.
Got him.
Oh,
the elephant seemed hell-bent on mischief. Indeed, as we afterward found out, the blister was snowing on his right temple.
Oh, no.
Chief behaved badly. Let me explain myself, as perhaps few of you are familiar enough with the elephants to know what I mean by the blister. Elephants, that is, some elephants, and Chief was inclined in that class, have periods of madness, but nature has provided the means by which man may anticipate that period and put the beasts in restraint. The periods are more violent in some elephants than in others, and while in some the mood might reach complete madness, in the majority it only assumes the proportions of marked ill temper and surliness.
That's awesome that back then they used to just like enslave elephants and like beat the shit out of them and stuff, and they were like, well, it's probably just natural that they freak the fuck out every now and then. It's just like a part of their nature that they get really pissed off and try to kill us.
Yeah. You've often seen elephants in the circus chained by the leg to a heavy peg, no doubt. Well, they are the surly ones. The keepers tell you they are man-killers, naturally vicious and such rot. That's only stock talk. The blister has shown on the animals, and they are kept in temporary restraint until the crazy period passes. A week or two before the elephant enters the mean state, a swelling, hardly larger than a silver quarter, forms on his temple. This is definitely fucking made up. This is the fakest shit I've ever heard.
He has an angry dot that grows like, if you just... It's whispering bad thoughts into his head, it becomes alive.
Now, after all this explanation, which is perhaps dry enough, let me get back to my story. The blister was on Chief's right temple when our show pulled into Charlotte for a one-night stand, but King had not noticed the swelling, so he was off his guard. Chief cut up badly when the Hindus, but it's spelled D-O-O-S, came to put his howdah on for the Grand March. And when Mary was walking up to bring him to account, he showed a disposition to still be unruly, and appeared willing to fight the queen of the herd. His temper was such that he left out in the animal tent. Only Mary and the other elephants, 6 in number, went on in the entry.
When does he get killed?
King went away
and then and then the elephant fucking killed the guy, and it was so crazy.
We're gonna get to it. This is
and then the elephant fucked his dead butt.
King went away and returned in a few minutes with Mary and Chief. Whatever possessed him to bring that mean bull elephant, I don't know. His choice, poor fellow, cost him his life. King spoke to Chief and ordered him forward, and the elephant obeyed, although unwillingly. As he stepped out to the mud, he swung his trunk dangerously from side to side. No amount of prodding with the driver's hook would prevail on Chief to put his head into the cage, and King, thinking that the elephant was frightened or disconcerted by the rumbling roars which came from the imprisoned lions,
Oh my god.
Just a couple lions in the
God damn, man. I want to go to a fucking circus where the animals freak out and kill someone.
Yeah.
So bad
that
now.
Was part of the experience.
Is
you
might
have gotten to see it.
We have to go back to this.
It's like catching the
and I think we will.
Yeah. We'll go back to the circus, and we'll make sure that the lions kill someone.
My dad told me once that whenever he found because he used to live in Mexico, whenever he found like a couple of scorpions around, he would drop them into his sink to try to get them to fight.
Oh,
what? So cool.
Whenever he found a couple wild elephants in Mexico, he would always make them fight each other.
Yeah, he would enslave them until one of them had a blister.
Yeah. Then my dad would get killed by an elephant every week.
Yeah. Stepped into the mud and leaned against the van, as he made as though shoving. Chief's time had come. He saw the one great chance to fill his cup of vengeance, and turning suddenly, he let all of his massive left side suddenly strike the cage. The elephant's bulk crushed into King, and jammed him against the cage, and the great beast, throwing in all his weight into the effort, smashed that unfortunate trainer as flat as a pancake. Pardon the term, but it is the only fitting one I could find. Every moment...
All right, that was a good payoff.
Yeah, I know it's in poor taste, but he was literally fucking. He became 2D. He was fucking flattened.
but it is the only fitting one I can find. Every single bone in King's body was broken, and his head was crushed into a bloody pulp, with what few features that were distinguishable flattened out and twisted as though a stone grinder had passed over them. With the act of murder, the mad mood claimed chief entirely, and throwing his great trunk into the air and trumpeting shrilly, he dashed wildly down the road, overturning several horses that were in his way. King's battered and bloody body lay in the mud, an awful sight to look at, and while some of us rushed to render what assistance we could to the poor fellow, an alarming thing was happening to Mary. The huge beast witnessed the tragedy, and seemed to comprehend it, and then, leaving the rest of the herd, she tore down the highway furiously in pursuit of the fugitive chief.
This is so awesome.
Driving down the fucking interstate at night. Seeing a pissed off elephant on a warpath.
Yeah. Like you see the first elephant like ripping down the road, like furious trumpeting, and you're like, holy shit, man. Probably only ever see that once in your lifetime, and then like 5 minutes later, a second elephant.
Holy shit.
He only refers to, like, I'm assuming they're like helpers at the zoo, but he keeps calling them Hindus.
Yeah, it's for the people they bought the elephants from.
Yeah. With any amount of queer words and a liberal use of their sharp goads, kept the other elephants from stampeding. And then the last section is just titled,
they did these weird things like not torture the elephants.
Yeah, some kind of mystical
dies of grief, and I don't really want to read that.
Ethnic shaman stuff. Can I read Man Killed Trying to Free Lions?
Yeah, I love this one. Also, I love all of these.
These are all great.
December 6th,
Maybe we should just become most Yellow Pages.
Yeah, most news aversial.
No, they're not called Yellow Pages. What are they? Yellow Press. Most Yellow Press.
No, this is
the most controversial Inquirer.
If I could get an archive of the Hearst papers, that would be like way better. If I could get like the tabloids, but this is all like Washington Post. I think that's the archive.
Yeah, the real news.
Yeah, that's what the archive for my stupid college. What they want you to look at. And even then, you have stuff like Chim Shoots Trainer.
1930s John Boy doing history of the Seattle Mariners, and it's just 2 years.
Yeah,
and then it stops.
It's just an article that says they do not exist yet. I don't know, but something told me I had to write this.
Port of Spain, Trinidad, December 5th, 1974. A 26-year-old man, carrying in his pocket a note reading, "Animals should be free," slipped into a zoo cage and was killed by 2 lions he apparently intended to let out.
Writing a note before that is so funny.
I mean, it's a good thing he did.
Gotta stick it in my pocket.
It's like he was a little bit like, well, the animals are probably gonna eat me.
Yeah, they're gonna get me. They're gonna get my ass. I like to think he wrote it like right before he went in. Like he actually saw the lions in person. He's like, oh shit, I might die.
Oh fuck.
I thought it was gonna be emus.
Can I
He didn't know what animal he was freeing.
Yeah.
He just opened a gate.
Yeah.
He just opened a cage. He thought it was like zebras or something.
There's just a 1-2 punch for this headline. 20,000 flock to see not Turkish tents, but circus tents go up for first time in year. And then the line below that: tiger tail tears scalp of worker when startled by falling board. And then old methods missing as engine hoist top, and 104-year-old elephant earns keep pushing wagons and pulling ropes. So they're just having
104 years old. They're just lying.
They have to be lying. Also, this one.
Also, that tiger's a bitch for getting scared by a falling board.
The crippled children are healed for an hour when the circus comes to town. The difference between divine healing and mental healing matters only to those.
An hour, they just walk.
Matters only to those who lighten the argument. Men use different words to describe the same fact, but their words are important only to themselves, and the fact remains unchanged. Whether the healing is accomplished by divine power or by the power of men's minds, it is an established fact that those who have faith in these methods are made well. Yet here again, words conceal the fact. For those made well by faith may not have ill for those, may have been ill only for those who want of it. No man.
I think my reading voice is better than yours. I'm putting some spice in it.
Yeah, it is. I'm waiting for the fact. I was looking for if they were going to say something funny about disabled kids, but I don't think they are. Fortunate, it is the realist who has learned.
Wait, Charlie. Very
fortunate. It is the realist who has learned to feel, as animals do, the simple physical pain unmagnified by a fearful mind. And doubly fortunate is he who has learned to control his mind and fix it on cheerful images when doleful ones would oppress him. Sorry, Griffin, what did you laugh at?
Okay. This one in the Washington Post, Cincinnati, Ohio, July 9th, 1923. 2-ton hippopotamus killed by a tennis ball.
Like that, yeah.
The person who threw a tennis ball into the cage of Zecco, gigantic hippopotamus at the zoo, caused the death of that animal, famous as the largest specimen of his kind in captivity in America. This fact was revealed at a Post Malone conducted by General Manager Sol Stephen of the zoo and his assistant Joe Stephen. I wonder if
Sol Stephen is like he was like the first
he's the number one.
he was the first black zoologist. The Sol Stevens.
What's up, Daddy?
Yeah.
He was the guy who invented calling other black guys cats.
Yeah. What's up, big cat?
Yeah. The tennis ball was found wedged in the huge beast's stomach, where, unable to pass further through the narrow opening, it formed a fatal obstruction, which resulted in Zecco's death after 4 days of suffering.
4 days of suffering. I feel like they could have
Poor
gotten it
guy.
out earlier. What makes
Or like, didn't someone see someone throw a tennis ball into the hippo's mouth, and maybe they saw it and they were like, well, that's probably fine. I mean, the hippo's big as fuck.
Yeah.
They're like, why would that hurt it? It's so much smaller.
I've been
ball.
looking in more recent years. I only started doing it right before this. I've been looking up opinions on rap music from like the 90s. Particularly, hold on, let me see if I can find one. I found some like articles that were very concerned about the Beastie Boys. Which is
they might
the Beastie Boys were just a group of 3 lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
is a cool layout for.
Yeah, where was it? Ban the Beastie Boys, or at least tell parents what they're going to see. Beware, parents. The Beastie Boys don't do concerts, they do orgies. This band performs sexual acts on stage. At a recent concert in Columbus, the members of this rock band reportedly took turns kissing the naked breasts of a crafty girl in the cage, a bikini-clad girl dancing on stage. The show is coming to Capitol Center on April 5th. I'm just going to skim. King Adrock, one of the boys, has been quoted as saying the band only wants to bring a little fun into the lives of all the 13-year-old girls who buy their records. It's a fact that the band's audience is made primarily of junior high school youth. The Beastie Boys' message is about violence, drugs, alcohol, and sex. Wait, this is from 1987, man. This person's gonna just faint when they hear actual
this person
rap
had
music.
a heart attack. You know, this person had a fucking heart attack and died.
Yeah, when they...
Yeah, no, this person died in 1992 after they discovered G-Funk for the first time.
Yeah. When they discovered Crisscross, which was like the novelty.
Yeah, they died after Crisscross.
Yeah, how is that spelled? Because I want to look up if anyone is calling like Crisscross like thugs. was it?
I think it's K-R-I. I could be wrong.
Crisscross.
While you do this one, I'm gonna read.
It's K-R-I-S-K-R-O-S-S.
Okay.
This one is really. I just want to read the headline for this one.
Hold up fails in Bronx Zoo. Thug slain.
Oh my God.
Thug slain.
Slain.
I just like the idea of holding up the zoo.
Like Dark Souls text, like after you beat like an Elden Ring boss, it just says
Thug slain. And hold on, let me look up Crisscross and the word thug. Come on, please. 10 results. It's not like a young enthusiast.
Yeah, I bet it's just sharing a page.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll find anything that funny because it'll probably be people saying like Crisscross provide like a positive example for the youth as opposed to some rappers.
BC Boys is like my go-to for like like rapper that isn't, really
like Grandmaster Flash.
You could probably find some really funny stuff about like 80s metal bands.
Ooh.
Like I bet if you search Judas Priest, you'd find some good ones.
But it needs to be what
I don't know if that's as funny, but it is pretty funny that they wrote like ballads about like there was a guy who was sad and when he died he was glad, and then everyone's like, this is encouraging my child to commit suicide.
Oh yeah, no, the Judas Priest suicide trial opens.
Yeah, no, it was really funny because literally like the song they were claiming like convinced a kid to commit suicide literally sounds like fucking like
killing myself. I love killing myself.
I think it's called Better by You, Better Than Me, and it's like about a guy convincing someone else to kill him so he doesn't have to kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
But it does sound like.
Yeah. Okay. Beastie Boys, Ghetto. I'm sick of the ghetto thugs that the Beastie Boys are.
Yeah. Anyway, can I read Society Fights to Lower Age of Consent?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A new organization made its appearance this week with the intention of helping the growing number of Englishmen who find themselves in court each year because they forgot to ask the age of their girlfriends. It calls itself the Society for Lowering the Age of Consent.
That's pretty straightforward.
Oh no!
It's not even like
the Society for Lowering the Age of Consent to 14.
Not even like the Society of privy gentlemen or whatever.
I didn't finish. It's the name. Like this is not me riffing.
No, I know.
The society is the Society for Lowering the Age of Consent to 14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
Bearded Arthur Wilkinson, the first president, said the society was formed because Britain's Lolitas were really nice young girls frustrated by laws which forbade them to marry when they are physically capable to take a husband. Can I give them some free advice?
Don't call them that. Don't call the girls that.
I would not call them Britain's Lolitas.
I don't want to help these guys out, but I can't help but think, like, don't do that. Don't call them that.
Would any of you guys like to guess the year this was printed?
Well, I know the year.
1995.
It's 1961.
Oh. I thought it was better.
Should be given the opportunity of attaining full adult status at 14, he said. But this does not apply to boys. They take at least 2 more years to mature.
Okay.
Yeah, it can't even be like.
I love that they specify. It's like there's like a separate society that forms, like a rival society. It's called the Society for Lowering the Age of Consent.
That's why we go to Jupiter and get.
That's why it was controversial in Britain, is because they excluded boys. So they were like, "This will never get voted on. You fucking piece of shit."
There's a separate society of only Italians that's looking to lower it for.
The separate society for lowering. That's just called. I was gonna say that's called Parliament, but then that feels too much like a Bill Maher joke.
Wilkinson said he expected the worried mothers of teenage girls today to support the society in its campaign to reduce the age of consent from 16. I have also sought the advice of religious leaders.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
And they do not seem to object.
Mohandas Gandhi.
Yeah, I've talked to Gandhi.
You guys are not going to believe this, but
Gandhi,
priests support my motion.
Yeah. I talked to
lower the age of consent to 14.
I talked to now 40-year-old Joe Paterno, and he said that that's cool because he works for a religious institution. He's a priest. I don't even know if he did. Didn't he work for Notre Dame?
The other guys, Jerry Sandusky.
Yeah, close enough.
Wilkinson sent his proposal for marriage at 14 to the British Council of Churches and to his Member of Parliament, Labourite Hugh Delergy. The Reverend Kenneth Slake, Secretary of the Church Council, said Wilkinson's suggestions will be placed before our group dealing with marriage and family planning. Delargy said he told Wilkinson he did not think the House of Commons would be very sympathetic to changing the age of consent. Wilkinson's group is not the first to suggest that the age of consent might be lowered because of the earlier maturity of girls today. A recent survey showed that in many cases where men were arrested with underage girls, it was the girl who was the aggressor and the man who needed the protection.
Yeah, she was.
1950s British men just like dodging pussy like Neo in the Matrix. It's just
we need to lower the age of consent.
These 14-year-old girls are
they're just.
We need to lower the age of consent real quick. We got a gig later on tonight, but I just want to say really quick. We want to lower the age of consent to 14. Yeah,
coming back home at like 3 a.m. and she's like, "Where were you? You won't believe this. I got raped by a 14-year-old." I know it sounds crazy, but she raped me at gunpoint.
She cornered me in a dark alley. Yeah. She made me. She slipped something in my juice box.
One last paragraph. In most of these cases, the girls used makeup and high heels, leading the men to believe they were over the age of consent.
Yeah.
Ooh, va boom.
I know it goes insane, but just the stupidest men.
The dance mom's defense.
Yeah.
I assume that all. Yeah.
Dude, like
Can I-
all you had to do to be like a pedophile hunter TikTok guy in 1950 was just
Wait.
go outside.
Yeah, go
And
outside.
ask people if they would.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
we
literally just like
you
ask
just
people.
had to shoot
Yeah.
someone.
yeah. We found these text messages of you trying to fuck a scarecrow in a blonde wig.
Yeah. I'm just gonna look up.
Can I read?
I think we're time. I think we're time.
Oh,
Wait, can I read one more?
One more.
Rabbit hunter killed. Baltimore man meets death by accidental discharge of gun. By the accidental discharge of his shotgun while hunting rabbits yesterday, John Christian Kraft of this city was instantly killed. He was in company with 3 friends in the woods near Baltimore. Sighting a rabbit, he rushed forward to get it a good aim, but his gun caught in some underbrush as he passed and was discharged. The shot entered his left side, penetrating his heart and lungs, and he died before his friends could reach him. So he literally just like walked into a tree and accidentally shot his gun at himself and died.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, is that
Instantly.
like Looney Tunes used to be real.
Yeah, they I don't understand how this can happen. Like the gun got like it got like the trigger got like caught on a branch and spun around to aim perfectly at your head.
Yeah, and then your friends were like, "Oh damn, he shot himself." It would be, yeah. I mean, if
That would be so funny if they did like those like annoying true crime podcasts, but it was about shit like this.
yeah,
So yeah, he and follow after the ad break. We're going to talk about how his gun got discharged by a leaf.
yeah,
Yeah, the two theories are the leaf discharge theory and the slip and fall discharge theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, the theory that his friends actually planted marbles in front of him so he could slip and fall.
Hold on. I want to read one last one as well.
All right, Charlie, I am hopping off here in 1 minute.
Okay, fine.
I want to watch the pig.
No,
It is too
I know.
important.
People snicker even at snakes. The snake house has always been a sock attraction at the zoo. No doubt this fascination struck Lillian Hellman somewhere along the line when she conceived her celebrated Hubbard family. The excursions into evil made the little foxes and I just like people snicker even at snakes. That
People
was
snicker even at snakes.
Yeah.
Snakes are funny AF.
snakes
Dude.
funny AF. And that's the news. Good night, everyone. I'm
Because
Walter
they look like a
Cronkite.
cock. Snakes look like a fucking cock nutting. I guess they don't really nut.